Hammer time. Go with the flow. It is said if you can't prove it.
Hello and welcome to another Army Showcase. Today we're going to be looking at my Bretonnian army. This is another backlog army I'm planning to paint in 2027 after the Estalian and Tilean armies that I'm painting. It has roughly 650-700 miniatures in it, about 10,000 points, maybe as high as 12,000 depending on buffs and magic weapons and whatnot. There is a very broad mix of Games Workshop miniatures from as far back as 3rd edition all the way up to the later edition stuff, as well as a lot of Perry miniatures from their medieval sets. There's also 3D prints from Highlands Miniatures and Last Swords Miniatures. So I'll be showing you, I guess, this backlog army with a view to helping you guys see how well the various miniature lines or sets or companies miniatures mix together, and also just why not, what the hell. Alright, so let's start with the glaringly largest accumulation of archers. This is 260 Bretonnian archers. I think they're predominantly 5th edition Bretonnian archers from that set that had the 2 monopose archers. There are a few later edition Bretonnian archers mixed in, and there are a handful of head swaps and maybe some very minor conversions in the mix, just because they were either broken and they needed an extra foot or hand or bow or head or whatever. So I'm not sure, as I've never played with them in a battle before, I'm not sure how to arrange or divide up the 260 bowmen. Happy to get advice in the comments from any seasoned Bretonnian generals out there. Yeah, obviously they're set up into 2 lines of 2 deep here, and I guess you do the math for how long that is. Anyhow, I've got some of the stakes out front. Be nice to have more of those, but I feel like that's already a ton. And there we go. I probably would prefer to use them with Warhammer Armies Project rules, as that's what I tend to play with. Especially with the only 1 rank can fire. I think I prefer the 2 ranks firing kind of rule, but everyone has their opinions on that. And there we go. All right, that's the archers. There are 2 units of, I guess for Warhammer the Old World, we'll call them I guess squires. And here we go. These are from Last Swords Miniatures, these 12. They have a kind of Robin Hood effect or style to them. There's Maid Marian, Friar Tuck, a Robin type character, and there's even a guy playing a guitar over here. Looks like a rocker. It's kind of cool. And on the other hand, on the other side, we have the traditional Games Workshop version. Got these guys in a set. I had been looking for them forever. There's the 3 of them there, and 2 other kind of metal Bretonnian, I guess they're squires. And just to fill out the unit of 12, I mixed in some more kind of later edition gents with hoods to kind of fit in. Alright, here we have 2 units of 6 mounted yeomen. They're mixed between 4th edition Games Workshop and Last Swords Miniatures. So I'm going to have a go at painting them up together when I get to it, and seeing how well they mix together. I think it'll be fine. Here's that second unit of mounted yeomen. Alright, moving on, we have a unit of men-at-arms from Perry Miniatures. Here we go. And we have one of the, I guess they're called handmaidens or damsels on foot there. Here we have a unit of peasants from Fireforge. Not sure how to use them in Warhammer the Old World, but in Warhammer Armies Project they have rules. Got another damsel or handmaiden. Here we have a unit that is predominantly made up of the later edition Games Workshop men-at-arms. There are a couple of earlier edition miniatures in there, as well as a couple of Perry miniatures kit bashed with Games Workshop halberds to fit into the unit. We have a jester here from Last Swords Miniatures. Not sure how to fit him in, but we'll see how we go. Here we have a unit of either brigands or foot knights, or even men-at-arms, depending. It's a mixture of 3rd edition fighters, 4th edition Bretonnians, some 3D prints from Highlands Miniatures, and including King Arthur here with the coconut squire as well. Alrighty, here we have I guess a baron on foot, or just a character. Here we have some foot knights from Last Swords Miniatures. The metal standard bearer is sorry, they're not from Last Swords Miniatures, they're from Perry Miniatures. Apologies for that. The metal standard bearer is supposed to be Joan of Arc. Perry Miniatures was sending a copy of her out for anyone who did, I think, orders of over $200 at the time. So I was very lucky to get her. Moving on, it's a Last Swords miniature character. And here we have Highlands Miniatures Grail Pilgrims, predominantly. There are a few other flagellants mixed in there to flesh it out. And here we have the Black Knight from Monty Python. So I'll make him a sergeant-at-arms or character. Here we have another mixed unit. You can see how well the older miniatures mix with Perry. So these are some, I think they're 4th edition Games Workshop Bretonnians, predominantly metal, with some Perry miniatures. I think the set is called Agincourt French Infantry. I'll put a picture of the box in. Alrighty. Here we have another mixed unit of Perry miniatures with, I think they're 4th edition Bretonnian men-at-arms mixed with Perry miniatures. As you can see, they mix very well. One thing I did have to do was cut the spearheads off most of the metal miniatures, which some people would say is defiling them, and replace them with longer spears. Trust me, it looks much better. And here we have a basically just a full unit of Perry miniatures, Agincourt French, or the English Army, I think they called it. Some of them might be miniatures from that set as well. All right, again, Perry miniatures. And here we have 2 units of 6 mounted yeomen, again mixing Last Swords miniatures with the old 4th edition metal Bretonnians. And here we have a unit of Knights of the Realm. Again, these guys are 3rd or 4th edition, I think 4th edition Bretonnians. Very old. I've got the bits separately. It's going to be a bit of work to get them looking decent. The lances are metal, so they bend easily and break easily, and they're also very old pewter. Here we're going to go through a series of characters from Highlands Miniatures and Last Swords Miniatures 3D prints. I find the Last Swords Miniatures probably the better looking personally, but sometimes their scaling is a bit off when you order them or print them at 100%. I find some are small, some are big. It would be great if it was a little bit more standardized for Warhammer, but obviously these miniatures aren't just for Warhammer, so I can understand why they do it. And let's see, some more characters, I think on foot and mounted. We'll move past the artillery, go back to them at the end. We've got 2 kind of green knight equivalents. One from Highlands Miniatures on the left, and one from Last Sword Miniatures on the right. And we have some of the mounted Bretonnian ladies to vex our enemies. Alright, into the back. Back here we have some 4th edition Bretonnian Knights Errant. You'll notice there's a lot of painted miniatures mixed in the army. These were my younger brother's, and he had them in the garage for 30 years and decided to gift them to me, which was very nice of him, considering what they're worth. At least they're still in the family. Here we have a unit of 10 Knights of the Realm. Also, these were my brothers back in the day. Another unit of 10 Knights of the Realm. And here we have the predominantly Highlands Miniatures Bretonnian Knights of the Grail. And there are, I think, 4 metal ones in the back as well from Games Workshop. And moving on to the artillery. I don't have the new Warhammer the Old World army book, so I'm not sure what they have in terms of artillery that's expanded upon the Forces of Fantasy book. But here we have 2 trebuchets. I cannot for the love of me remember where these prints are from. We've got 3 metal bombards, I guess they're called, behind these Last Swords Miniatures mantlets. I think they're mantlets. A mixture of Games Workshop and Highlands Miniatures and Last Swords Miniatures prints, as well as 2 Bastillas, I think they're called. So all of this artillery is available in the Warhammer Armies Project rules. I'm not sure about the newer Bretonnian rules. If anyone knows, pop it in the comments about the new Bretonnian rules, whether or not the other types of artillery, apart from the trebuchet, are allowed. Okay, here we have Highlands Miniatures again. These guys are their questing knights. I don't think the camera's doing them justice. I'll have to be the paint job that does that, but they're pretty cool. Here we have a unit of Knights of the Realm. And another unit of Knights of the Realm, this time I guess they're 4th edition. And I think I showed these ones before, but more nice and round. This is my only kind of later edition Pegasus rider. I have two of the old metal Pegasus, but I haven't assembled them yet. And I guess it'll make it 3 in the end. And probably lacking in this army is a centerpiece model. So I probably have to fork out some money and buy one of the Games Workshop ones. But that is my Bretonnian army. Like I said, it's in the backlog till 2027. I'm not looking forward to painting all of those archers, although I might do a video on just seeing if I can paint them all in 1 month with some batch painting. Might be too much of a feat, but you never know. Alrighty, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Can't touch this. You can't touch this.